Welcome back guys in my YouTube channel Joan Sagala in the Bodybuilding Podcast. Now today we gotta discuss about James Hollingshead. What happened with James Hollingshead in the Mr. Olympia 2021 last weekend, and what he feels, what he's feeling, and what he's thinking about his placing on Mr. Olympia 2021. What he's thinking about Patrick Tour as his coach for preparing him at the Mr. Olympia 2021. Before we go jump into it, please click the bell button, subscribe, and we're looking for James Hollingshead right now.
First time I saw you compete was Tampa, 2017 or 2018?
18.
And I said, man, this guy right here, I'd like to see him filled out and, grainier and this and that. And that's the James that I saw in those shows, but unfortunately I wasn't there. Didn't make it to Spain or UK. So anyway, I know this is a loaded question, but what happened? What didn't go right? What didn't go as planned for this Olympia?
Do you know what? It's hard to pinpoint one thing. Because I think it was just one of them years, and I'm not excusing myself, but I actually forgot I even had COVID at 9 weeks out.
Oh my God!
So he said he's basically have the COVID when he was prepping at the 9 weeks out for the Mr. Olympia. If you already didn't know, James Hollingshead have the COVID. He already said it. I know because I'm following James Hollingshead, and I think he was one of the competitors in the Mr. Olympia 2021 who have the long off season. I'm really following his posted. He's always posted, update his routine P6, his posing. He's really working hard. Okay, train heavy, squat 7 plates. And I know when he was start prepping diet for Mr. O, he has a COVID. I know. If you not already know now, you all know. Okay, one thing that I'm really want to you all guys see and analysis is when the videos coming up. Okay, the James Hollingshead in the Mr. Olympia 2021, you can see when he was doing back lat spread. Okay, that's why kind like really flat James Hollingshead version. You can see there is no lower lats insertion. Okay, you can see the rhomboids, you can see the upper lats, but it's not really significant, I think. Okay, it's just my perspective, guys. It's just what I judge about the James Hollingshead in the Mr. Olympia 2021, and I'm really agree. He really looks flat in the Mr. Olympia 2021 if we compare in when he was winning at the British Grand Prix. He was really flat in the Mr. Olympia 2021, and he didn't place good enough. Okay, I think he placed at the 15th place or maybe, yeah, something kind of like there between the place. Okay.
I ate just a certain amount of food, stable amount of food. Couldn't do anything that was challenging to my lungs. My lungs were literally on fire. So all I could do literally was sit down. I sat down for 10 days straight. It's hard to judge a physique when it's standing there on its own. It can look fantastic there on its own, but then when you put it in a lineup, it looks very different. Because obviously, me and Patrick weren't too displeased with what we were seeing. I was feeling a certain way in the prep. I did feel like I was over dieted, and there was a point where I should have said something to Patrick about knowing I needed more food on this prep, which I didn't want to say because I'm not a bitch, and I feel like that's the worst thing you can do as a client is be like, I need more food. But there was a point when I was in Dubai where my body literally started to run away from me. And I should have said something. It was my fault I didn't.
So when he said like this, that means it's because Patrick Tour plan. That's the point, okay? Because if we remember back in the day, okay, when James Hollingshead preparing for Mr. Olympia 2021 this weekend, he was coached by Patrick Tour. And Patrick Tour preparing his diet, preparing his training plan, and everything, okay? But At the time, James Hollingshead feel he was flat. Okay, that's what James feel. Okay? James feel flat. He thinks he need more food, but Patrick Tour not allow him to eating more food because I think yeah, it makes sense why Patrick Tour not allow James Hollingshead to eat more food because it's already a few weeks to go to the Olympia, road to the Olympia, and of course not makes sense if you really bulk up 500 1000 calories before go to the show, before go to the Olympia. Okay, you want to look and maximize your potential, your looks, physics, best body for Mr. Olympia, I think. But I don't know, James Hollingshead feels he was flat. And yeah, let's see, continue this. What's kind of like the solution? Okay, what's the next story?
Because you had an off season from, what was the last show you had done? Was it Europa?
Wow, like November. Like I had plenty of time. I was cranking on the muscle run. I was a new body. I had a new body.
That's what I'm saying. You added new tissue. You had, I don't know how much more muscle you put on.
There would have been like 7 or 8 pounds of lean tissue by the end of the diet if it was done right.
Like I said, guys, he was of the one competitors bodybuilder for preparing Mr. Olympia who have the long off season. He said from the November to December 2021. I think from November 2020 to December 2021. Oh, I think not December, October 2021. That is long off season, guys. That is long.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, that commands more calories. That 8
It
pounds
does.
of muscle. Yeah.
It does, and I think we underestimated that. I think as a combined effort, you know, me and Patrick, we both agree that we both made errors here. It's not like I'm blaming him or him blaming me.
Right.
It's a bit of lack of communication from my half on some of the things that I felt, but also an underestimation of the changes that we've made since last year in terms of, like you say, physically being a larger human being.
I think he was making the another point again why he was not get the great blessing for Mr. O because he have the lack communication with Patrick Tour and underestimate the change, and James feels like he can be heavier, he can be looking better, be the best of the Mr. Olympia. That's what he thinks, right? That's what he feels, right? But I don't know, okay, because what I see when he was squatting 7 plates, when he was really have the long off season, and I think it's not really necessary and it's not really mean you gonna get better and you gaining 7 or 8 pounds. Okay, let's assume James Hollingshead really gaining 7 or 8 pounds, okay? But it depends on how you're training between the road to the Olympia also, I think, because when I watched the James Hollingshead when he was dieting so hard, okay, when he was nearly close to Mr. Olympia, he's training like come on guys, like a lightweight, like a really kind of like focusing on form, of course, okay, really perfect form, but kind of like the weight is not really heavy, the weight it's not really we gonna expect, okay, we gonna expect. I'm not saying you was training hard, you was training heavy, you was everything all out and injured yourself. No, I'm not said like that. I know when he was preparing for Mr. O, especially nearly the close, you're not gonna be able to train heavy, alright, because you're in energy low. But it's different when I see the James Hollingshead training, okay? You can watch the Redcon 1 videos and you can watch everything, okay? I don't know, maybe the Patrick Tour has the training plan like that, or I don't know, okay? Or maybe just James Hollingshead just programming his training plan for himself. I don't know, okay? So let's continue the story.
More demand. We didn't really take that into account. We kind of tried to do things the same, but forgetting that the body isn't the same body. And this happens, you know, it's a mistake. And I won't lie, like in the beginning, I was really upset, like when it come to that weekend, because I could feel that my body wasn't where it should be when I was even at the Olympia before I'd even got on stage. But I just tried to tell myself that's just regular feelings you have when you're doing a big show. It's the pressure. It's nothing other than the pressure. But when I got to that, when I went backstage and I looked in the mirror and I'm pumping up, I'm like, shit, man, it's not there.
When I heard the James Hollingshead version of the story, I think he was really knowing and he was really feel really losing so much muscle when he was gained in the off season. Okay, I think he was nailed and he was losing all of the tissue. If we open our mind, guys, if we open our brain, okay, James Hollingshead make it this statement for the point is it's because Patrick Tor, okay? That's the conclusion we get until now, okay? That's the Patrick Tor mistake, okay? But it's not really said it's the Patrick Tor fault, it's Patrick Tor's mistake, but he just tell to all of us in another side, okay? In another story. Come on, guys. I believe in Patrick Tour. He was the good coach, but I don't know who is wrong, who is right. Okay, maybe Patrick Tour who was nailed and have some mistake, or maybe James Hollingshead. Okay, not really doing the plan like what Patrick Tour make it. Okay, we cannot say it. Okay, we cannot say it because only these both guys who knows what they already making for a mistake. Okay, but when I see the James Hollingshead say it like this, tell to all of us like this, I think he really losing so much tissue, so much lean mass when he was gained in off season. That's kind of like the really people who really losing so much gain, so much tissue.
So I mean, I had assumed wrongly. Now, obviously, there was like a peaking thing that you and Patrick had tried something and you'd flattened out. But it sounds it was
just flat. Like I just, no matter how much I was eating from 2 weeks out, my body wasn't filling out. So, you know, we had my carbohydrate intake up at like 600 plus, like daily for days on end. And I'm not saying 3 days, I mean weeks, like probably a couple of weeks. And my body still wouldn't soak anything up. And
I wonder James Hollingshead not really following the plan like a Patrick Tour made, okay, like a Patrick Tour make, because you know you already close to the stage, close to the day, to the Mr. Olympia days, the big show. But when your diet is really 600 grams of carbs, I mean, like, what? Are you serious? Come on. I think that's what you look watery, James. Okay, that's what you look watery and you look small, losing so much weight and losing so much tissue because I think you was, of course, you're in calorie deficit, but your diet is you really high on carbs, carbohydrates. That's what you look flat, you look small, but at the same time you look watery. There is no like a filling out the muscle, pumping out when your diet. Okay, I don't know. This is the Patrick Tour planning, or maybe James Hollingshead not following the Patrick Tour plan. I don't know. Okay, I cannot say anything, guys. Okay, I can't say and tell to all of you what's kind of like the truth, what's kind of like the correct diet, the properly diet, properly training for the Olympia. No, I cannot say that. Okay, I don't know everything about that, but it's just my perspective, it's just my opinion, guys. Okay, once again, I'm not anybody. I cannot talking about these things, but it's just my opinion and what I think. Okay.
the mistake we were making is we were trying to fill me up on just clean food. And unfortunately, as much as I know Patrick's an advocate of clean food, I have a history of doing shows and having used foods that you would consider bad as part of my prep. My body responds well to them, and I should have said, you know, when I felt flat, I knew exactly what sort of foods I was needing to eat. Like when I was in Dubai, like I say, I was about 3 weeks out when it all started going a bit funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, before bed tonight, I shouldn't be eating chicken and rice. I honestly should be eating like burgers and chips. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be maybe a pound heavier, but it will hold me for about 3 days and then he can reassess. But, you know, by continuing with the chicken and rice, you lose another pound, you lose another pound, keep losing another pound. And before you know it, one of those pounds took you over the edge of no return. And I got to that point, literally around I've literally know the date. Around September the 20th is where my body went overboard. I was literally where I needed to be September the 17th. Those 3 days after that, something in between that is when my body just went.
I'm not gonna blame James Hollingshead because he said like this. I'm not gonna blame him. Maybe that's what his body responds well for himself, okay? Maybe that's what he needs to making his body going better. Okay, I'm not gonna blame anything about James, guys, because it's different from the person to person. Okay, especially in the body, there is so much method. Okay, but for me, yeah, for me, I don't believe you have to doing and you have to eat burger and fries. You have to eat burger before bed in tonight, before go to the stage, like a Nathan Deasha. We know Nathan Deasha, just a couple hours before going to the show, he was eating burger and fries. I don't believe that, guys. It's not the special food and it's not kind of like the magic food, guys. I don't believe that. You know, it's just bread and salt. It's just bread and salt. You can have the water, of course you can holding the water, because the bread, the carbs, and the salt, that's kind of like why your body really looking full when your diet. Okay, when your diet you look small and you're eating the burger and fries because of the carbohydrate and salt and water in your body. When you eat burgers, of course you're gonna feel more out. Okay, feel more pumped, feel looks like more bigger, more muscle pumping out. It's the carbs effect, it's the salt effects, the water in your body when you're really dieting hard enough, when you really connect the zero carbs or everything. Okay, but if you're not really dieting hard enough, but if you're not really kind of like in the calorie deficit extreme, you're not gonna looking like this. Okay, you're not gonna looking your muscle pumping out, muscle looks gonna bigger. No, you just gonna look worse, look fat, not looking like a working out. Okay, guys, that's what I want to tell to all of you guys. There's a little bit discussion what I want to talking about the James Hollingshead, what he feels in the Mr. Olympia 2021, what he feels about his placing, and what's kind of like the Patrick Tour planning gift to James Hollingshead. And I don't know, this is who made the mistake. We don't know. Maybe James Hollingshead making the mistake for himself and not following the Patrick Tour plan, or maybe something Patrick Tour can like nail it. Okay, can like getting any wrong for James Hollingshead. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. So that's the news, guys. That's what I want to tell to all of you. So don't forget to click the bell button, subscribe. I'm gonna looking more and bring up another more information to tell to all of you guys and inform to all of you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. May God bless you all.